Map 2 coming right up, and if it was anything like Train, we could be done with this semi-finals real quick. We both had some doubts about Vertigo and Virtus.pro coming together, and after that Train performance, I don't suppose that your confidence has really built up too much here, Potter.
It's not. I gotta be honest. I mean, just thinking back of the history with Virtus.pro and Vertigo, it hasn't been pretty. It hasn't been looking pretty. I know that their win percentage rate on this map is actually quite high, but that's kind of the storyline for Virtus.pro on all their maps. A bit of some inflation coming through in those numbers, but Vertigo has been a point of contention here for VP. We'll see if they're able to bring a different sort of game plan, because at Flashpoint, it was a bit lackluster, Vince.
Yeah, it was. And as you say, it is a bit inflated. It says 70%, which looks pretty good on paper, but the last 5 or so games, not quite so much. That being said, though, we know that a Flashpoint had a tendency of losing their choice of map and then bouncing back. See if that can continue. As now on the CT side, they're looking to repel the push, but it's Hobbit and Nafani straight in with the Glock headshots, giving no reprieve. No chance at VP to muster up a comeback. Early doors, Sanji trying to thread some bullets between the smoke, but the bomb's already been planted down. They're using that bomb site now as a bit of cover, a bit of a shield. 3 flashes still intact for VP. First has just been tossed out. The detonation on top of the site doesn't really affect that many of the T's. The second one much better, faring for the frag, but now they only have 1 flash to go, and they've only taken and carved the path through one of the T's. They're now sticking on the site. They're hoping to try and bodyguard this one down, but the bomb has been denied. Buster spinning around on the swivel, nearly gets it done. It was so close, and way closer than anticipated, but Gambit do pick up the pistol.
Whoa, we need a replay of Buster's shots there. Holy moly, so accurate. He gets 4, and I even thought he was going to get the 5th there. Just this swing. Man, things got close. An impossible situation for VP. Buster almost makes it happen, but Gambit just straight to the point, man. They make it into that A bomb site. Jane didn't even see it coming. Just tucked away, hiding behind that sandbag, and VP, they're going to approach this round. It's a full save, just USPs on their backs. Nafani's definitely going to want to farm up some cash. Whew, those shots, Vince, that was clean from Buster. If he brings out that sort of accuracy into some of these gun rounds, he's going to be holding on to that secondary AWP towards that B bomb site, and those flicks will certainly help when he gets that gun into his hands.
No doubt a tantalizing prospect for the future rounds, but they have to get there first. They have, as you correctly pointed out, fully ecoed this one, and now that Gambit have realized that there's not much firepower against them, they'll brute force their way onto the site. Post-plant falls upon us. 5 USPs without any grenades. It should be a bloodbath. If they can even get 1 kill, it would be pretty significant. Afani taking the first point to call with his MAC-10. If he can rip and tear through a few of these people and farm up some cash, that would be the perfect outcome for Gambit. Now, he was looking like he will be given free reins to go out. Of course, it is the expendable weapon, so if they lose the MAC-10, which they're now trading because Nafani's been dropped down to 38, it's not really the end of the world. Runs out of ammunition. James will at least dispatch of Shiro, but that is the only casualty that comes into play. And Gambit steer themselves to a 2-0 lead.
VP couldn't get many kills in that round, so they're not going to have quite as strong a buy into this round if they decide to purchase, which they do. James does have full armor with that AWP, though, so actually it's not too shabby. Sanji peeking down this A-ramp with that flash. Smoke is covering everything right now. Ooh, Axel took a shload of damage.
Decides to press forward, even while incredibly weakened. Grenade now being tossed up. Axile down to 11. Nafani is fully healthy, so he takes point for his teammates. But this is a ruse. For the time being, the rest of the team can follow up momentarily, but they haven't fully committed to it just yet. Now they're starting to fall into position. Hobbit gets the first. Already up to so many frags. I think he's up to 7. A similar start to how we saw Train Fest. Sanji threading through the smoke for the headshot. But now he will go down. And that leaves Buster and Kickert. They can at least pick up the AWP. But can Kickert realistically do anything with this? Takes the speculative shot. Nothing sticks. And so he backs away. And that will put Gambit into a 3-0 start. And I'm getting deja vu from Train all over again.
Yeah, that was just too easy. It was looking too easy for Gambit. There was a moment, actually, that I fully bought into and believed in Sanji getting that spray down. The fact that he was able to find the first kill through the smoke there, it was looking good. Looked almost like a lineup, but just wasn't to be. Hobbit finding that initial opening was beautiful stuff, and Gambit just kind of straight to the point, getting into that A bomb site, getting the bomb down. I thought they'd be forced into doing the whole normal deal, which is the misdirection towards A ramp, applying that pressure, walk back to B. But they were able to just find these picks, man. Nafani with the Galil onto Sanji. Whew, 3-0 down. James, he still has that AWP. He could make things interesting here. It does look like he's headed towards... Where is he headed towards? He was at B and now he's just towards middle right now.
Big grenade damage done to Sanji, who was posted up at the backside of the ramp. Nafani forcing them away. With HEs alongside, tossed in from teammates. Weakened Yakinda, finished off by Nafani, who'd actually depleted his magazine, but springs around alongside Exile, keeping that Galil alive and keeping VP away from culling any of their players. Nafani survives on 2, but Buster's taking this chance, this opportunity to try and rummage around the back of the T's and see if he can cause some mayhem, cause some havoc perhaps. He needs Jane to land some big frags. He's missed the first shot. He has to pull back, but at least gets one in the return. And with Buster going for that rotation, this round actually could still be open and available, but now James died. And with James' death, the round probably falls into place.
Buster's changed his course of action here. He's just decided to be a little bit more sweaty since James went down. Probably, if he had a kit, he could really make things spicy, but he's just going to probably try to go for some exits here. That was awkward. I'm not sure why James felt so much pressure. He was good for the shot. I thought he'd feel the confidence there. You could see that the second player, I believe it was Hobbit, didn't want anything to do with that challenge. He didn't want to face James, but he definitely felt the pressure, pushed through his own smoke. If he was able to survive just a couple more seconds, I mean, you mentioned it, Vince, Buster was on the flank the entire time. There was real magic that could have happened there. Oh, Buster goes down. That is unlucko. Good thing VP still has some money, but Sanji's broke.
Yeah, broken down. This is the moment here. If James actually had a couple of shots. He ended up getting one inside. The second shot when it came out, but he had a chance at a shot on the scaffolding. There is another universe out there where James connects all 3 of those shots and they end up just winning the round off the basis of his AWPing. So, I mean, even though Gambit did get the last round under wraps, there were definitely a few banana peels that were tossed down range. Just that VP couldn't fully grab onto their situation. But now Gambit 4-0 to the good. VP forced together a buy. Includes the AWP. We haven't had those double AWPs come into play just yet. Gambit keeping themselves pretty passive to kick things off. Just allowing the early wave of utility to draw to a close.
James just asked Sanji to shoot for him so that he could scope, and he's actually able to find the kill in Nafani from it. Good communication coming out from VP here. Just throw out some bait there, and it works out beautifully. Inters is lurking around towards this mid. You can see Kickert has some idea that this possibility is there. And Gambit are just going to regroup back towards this B. Buster has full control right now. A lack of flashbangs. James does have some, but Buster's gonna have to make this first kill clean. There's not gonna be too much backup coming his way in the form of those flashes.
Time is so low as well here, though, Potter. We're getting towards 15 seconds. Gambit have got to start to move in. Unless they want to just save these guns, they've got to now press. And Buster, first player up, does hold his nerve, hold his ground. I'm not really sure what the idea was from Gambit. Seems like they put way too many chips on that potential B hit, which never really came to fruition, so they'll hold on to their weapons. With the 2 saved guns, they can buy again. They have more than enough funds on the rest of their teammates. But finally, VP have something to be excited about. They've got around.
They do indeed get around. And it was actually off the back of that bait from Sanji with James as well. Cool stuff. They're gonna need a lot more than that to get more rounds on the board. But Kicker, he's facing. He's got Yakinder. These two in tandem are... Oh, Yakinder a little bit labored, but he is good for it. He's getting spammed down low in the smoke. But Sanji's there to back him up.
Seeing VP with a lot more proactivity when it comes down to the ramp takes now. They're getting those early smokes in play. We're seeing them spam through the smoke perfectly. I wonder if Gambit will try and make some tweaks and maybe start to hit other aspects of the map and draw away some fire. Maybe try and hit B quickly, take some middle control. So it feels like A, for the most part, has now been shuttered into position. Now with 3 players able to buy in the next round, I wouldn't be surprised if Gambit still go in for this B hit. If they all get quelled, they can still come back with a purchase. Buster, same position he was in last round. This time, though, he has James on the overwatch with the AWP. Good flashbang, Shiro's a dead man. Much better from VP, only losing 1 player. They can build up their finances, and they're looking sharper.
Strong hold here. It's gonna be a bit of a wonky buy coming out from Gambit. Couple pistols. There is that AWP on the back of Shiro. He hasn't been quite as successful. It's still early days, though. This A ramp fight, he's been just kind of smoked off the entire time. Oh, I thought he'd have a chance there. Just barely. Yakinder stops right in the nick of time, but he's just biding his time on the other side of this smoke.
I was curious if we would see any kind of tweaks or differences for Gambit, but the spawns just didn't seem to allow VP the chance to go as aggressive on ramp this time around. Now, whenever Gambit have got into these spots, they've always Molotov the sandbags. So I would be very surprised if they get any kind of success over in this angle. They're coming up slowly. They have Molotovs, but they've still not thrown one in. They're maybe just trying to catch them off guard, go in dry to kick things off. No one's still looking over to the sandbags. Now HEs are being tossed in. Yakinder has the ability to try and stand tall, but he gets smacked through the smoke. And it's Hobbit that takes him out the equation. James now about to show his hand with the AWP up on the back room. There's such well-placed smokes that have been put in play from both teams that he can't see anything. And in this post-plant, it's kicked off well for Gambit as they string together 2 consecutive frags. That forces away Buster and James. They can potentially take a couple of players with them, but in terms of the round, it is only going one way, and that is to Gambit.
Fantastic stuff. I actually did get paranoid there for a second. I was on your side, Vince. I didn't think they were going to Molotov that sandbag, but eventually it did come. Gambit not leaving anything to chance, and Yakinder had no chance in that instance. And it all happened so fast. VP didn't even have a chance to react. There was no help that came Yakindar's way because it was almost instantaneous. Fantastic A-take coming out from Gambit here. You saw it. I mean, James had nothing. He could be of no value in that round. He got smoked out. He got blinded. Gambit did not give him the angles he was looking for. Great stuff.
It's impressive to me as well to have Gambit be undeterred by 2 rounds in a row where they've just basically got pounded through the smokes without really having any chance to do anything in return. And they're continually doing the same thing. Now, they have been accosted of a life onto Nafani from Yakinda's M4. He gets the pick and instantly retreats. What did Gambit do about this? I haven't really seen them playing from behind successfully as of yet here on Vertigo. They're going for the run boost. Yakinda has played in that close right angle a couple of times. This time they realize that's not the case. Still lots of time though, Potter. They can feel out these angles and make sure that VP aren't up close behind the likes of the sandbags.
Even though Gambit are down a man, they've shown that their thoroughness towards this A, when the execute happens, it works out for them. There's the first kill. James under a lot of pressure. Sanji even goes down, and James can't even shoot his gun. Right then, Gambit just brute force their way in. Numbers advantage. Kicker burns alive. And it's just down to Buster. He's got to save. He has no chance in this round. And that's the explosiveness coming in from Gambit, man. They just make their way into the site, force the issue, force the trades. And they know they're good for it. That initial aggression, then the silence. Just let Gambit push forward, inch their way forward, and just pounce. Buster will find one, and he will be able to save this gun. But once again, Gambit, solid A take.
VP just seems so out of sorts as well, though, Potter. Like, you saw from James' perspective, he was spinning left and right, left and right. It's like the comms were an absolute nightmare. He didn't know which way to focus, and in doing so, he just kind of did neither. He was just sat out in the open, got picked off by Hobbit. Axile was already pushing onto the site, and this is a VP that's a far cry from that Flashpoint performance that we saw. He looked very disjointed, not on the same page at all.
Definitely worrying signs, especially for a player of James' caliber. You know exactly what he can provide, but you're right. The fact that he's not looking confident, he's not holding the angles. Yakindar, he's good for it. He does find the one. That's a good start. James holding a different angle for himself, and there we go. A little bit more straightforward for him. 2-man advantage now for VP.
Much better showing what VP have up their sleeve. They have boosted up it. Buster, that's a hell of a flick. Not really an angle that you maybe anticipate, but he's straight away, flicks straight across, taking Axile down a peg. And now Gambit just have Intiz and Shiro with a minute left on the clock. And it's not as if their finances are rock solid either. A ton of them can buy, but Nafani down to $350. VP at least are scratching their way back into the game.
Flick of the wrist, Vince. You love to see it. Buster's definitely looking warmed up from the pistol round to that flick shot. It just sucks that he's the B anchor, Vince. Usually, when those hits come, they either come or they just don't. So even though Buster's hitting his shots, he's just hardly seen any action so far in this first half. Just comes with the rolls, comes with the positions. Either way, VP are going to secure this round. Gambit just going to save.
Time to save, have some ideas perhaps as to what to bring to the table in the next round. And I do agree, I think Buster has been the pick of the bunch here on VP, but he picked up a beautiful 4K in the pistol after rotating from the B side. We've seen him have a couple of impactful moments. But as soon as they've lost the A side of the map, there's not really much he can do. He's been, by and large, getting exit frags and looking to hold on to the rifles. You can see he's only died 3 times, even though his team have conceded 6. That goes to show you the kind of game he's had so far. Not his fault at all, of course. But now Gambit do call their tactical timeout. VP had just 9 full buy rounds on train and won just 3 of them. Yeah, that sounds about right. They were just getting absolutely pummeled on that T half, which is quite surprising because typically you'd think that when you have max round loss bonus coming up time after time, you'd be able to get together some really good buys, but it just never felt comfortable.
It's kind of been the storyline here. VP looking uncomfortable and Gambit just bullying them. Angie's gonna try his hand though. Once again, VP were able to dominate thanks to Yukindar last round. And again, Yukindar starts things off and the trades are coming in fast and quick. Sanji is good for 2 and Shiro's just got to tuck tail and back away. Both of these players are separated. Shiro's got that AWP though. And again, he hasn't been able to get quite involved early on into these rounds, just being smoked out and kind of pushed away. Inters will try to meet back up. They're going to regroup.
Yeah, I just wonder... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, Vince. I keep cutting you off. I just wanted to say there's not a lot of answers here for Gambit. They just got to straight up win a duel. James is in this forward position, so I think this is where it's going to start.
Yeah, I was actually going to say something very similar. It feels like Gambit maybe a bit telegraphed on that tactical timeout into aggression, and now as it stays, they need an entry from one of these two to crack open the site. Maybe behind the entry they can make this a bit of an interesting affair, but Sanji threw the smoke into the head just as we were trying to give them a bit of glimmer of hope. It's been dashed against the rocks, and Shiro, you're spot on. He's had very little impact with the AWP. He's not really had any chances, to be honest. Most of their set plays have been in amongst tons of smokes and flashbangs, and his woes continue. I almost feel to a point at this stage, Potter, and it's no kind of knock on Shiro's ability levels, but maybe just don't bother AWPing. Maybe just keep the AK. That run and gun mobility, I feel like it can offer more than having an AWP in these rounds.
It is a tough choice, certainly. I think Gambit have shown that they're able to get past that initial phase at that A ramp, and once that execute happens, that's when the AWP really starts to come into play. But when VP have had the utility and they've had Yukindar pushing forward and really aggressing, that's when Shiro kind of becomes useless to a point. You're right. Definitely Gambit have to have a different answer. And there it is. Buster getting taken out. Kickard is here to back him up, but the spray, he's able to connect with one. Sanji's here for the backup. It's a 3 versus 3. And Gambit, they're making it into the site.
Do they expect a third player to be here this soon? Well, enough time has elapsed where it's a distinct possibility. And then not fully committing behind those 2 picks may very well have just saved their lives. 3 players early on B, not really the kind of strat that you're expecting to see time after time, but now they will be going back in as a 3-man roster, maybe expecting that one of those rotations was quickly taken back again. Sanji with 1, sprays down, a second is taking minimal damage and goes in for 3. And just when VP needed a hero answered the call. It's 6-5.
Sanji to the rescue. Damn. Right when VP needed him most, Buster missed a shot. You could see Sanji was going to pick up that AWP for him, but I think Buster said, nope, leave it on the ground. I'm just going to rifle. He's not feeling it anymore. Used all the flick juice early on. A aggression again from VP. They've been dominating here for a few rounds now. And Gambit, more passive this time. They're not just going to face right off the bat. Except for Nafani.
And he meets a pretty sticky demise. They will be going for aggression over on B again. This time Buster has been dealt with quickly. Grenaded out. Jane can bypass that Molotov, but it will cost him a lot of HP. And Sanji, the hero of the last round, is still alive and still putting damage through the smoke. Jane using the narrowest of margins to allow him the luxury of the frag. And VP just back away so they can throw in that volley of grenades towards the site. Ooh. Hobbit gets caught in transition. It's Sanji. Beautiful time flashbang. Is consistently keeping Gambit in these very awkward off-angle situations. Another grenade comes out. This is a beautiful retake so far, but they're running out of time. They need to get on this bomb, and they have to hope that Shiro doesn't somehow deny them, which he won't. VP again have strung together another round.
Okay, Sanji has arrived. I did not know you could use the AUG in the manner in which he's using it. He's acting like he's got an MP9 in his hands, just full run and gunning, initiating everything for this retake. But even Yukindar, you saw the smoke and the Molotov that he threw to just start guiding the team in the right places. The pathing is kind of just set out depending on where that utility lands. So VP showing that They're looking prepared right now. Buster, though, the last couple rounds, he's been getting taken out at B a little bit early.
That's a very interesting fact, but I do also wonder how many games James has played compared to Shiro, if it's pretty similar. Obviously on different teams and a lot of different tournaments. Very interested to see how many games they've both played. Gambit, in the meanwhile, though, they have lost the first. Buster straight through into Exile, and a real chance after a beautiful start to this map for Gambit with a 6-2 lead at one stage. It's 4 in a row, and it could easily become 5. Shiro caught with a grenade out. He's being destroyed. He's barely had any success or any impact on this map. And even when they've had pistols, when they've had rifles in play, that's remained the case. Hobbit, a very impactful player who's been omnipresent over the duration of the first 2 maps, has been silenced. And that leaves Inters in a 1-on-4, and he will stumble at the first hurdle. VP actually take the lead, and I just couldn't see that happening a few moments ago, partner.
They're back. They're back, Vince. They're in the server. They've shown up. They're at least putting up this defense. And I think Gambit, they should still be okay with however things have been going towards this A. The initial aggression from VP have been throwing them off. They're gonna face right away. They're fighting back, fire with fire. Nafani is going through. He's blind. He doesn't care. He just wants the space.
It's by and large alone, though.
Oh, James, the backup. Nafani definitely wanted to get that kill there. Yakindar, the communication should have come through. In the same spot, Havik is taken out. Yakindar's low, though.
Low with 2-player advantage has been finalized on the fence. Not necessarily an angle you'd expect, and maybe that's what he was trying to play into. Anticipating there'd still be Molotovs and HEs that could be tossed towards him. James, position where we've seen him fluff a few shots earlier on, but there's no missing now. That confidence is building up nicely. Maybe the Giants have awoken from their slumber. Gambit only have 2 remaining, Inters and Shiro. Now would be a great time for Shiro to show us what he's got. Never in doubt this guy's capabilities, but it has been an awful, woeful Vertigo, and that will continue going forward. Inters 1v4, had a pistol last time around, now he's got the AK, but he gets dinked through the smoke, and that should be the round finalized, with VP taking a 2-round lead.
Dominant stuff coming out from VP. I love that. Coming out from James. Just has that long line of sight, and he's a homie. He's not going to let Yakindar down in that moment. So strong, dominant A hold. I thought Nafani did enough. He really kind of alphaed that A ramp early on. But a slow approach coming through this time. Yakindar, this AUG has been doing work. Oh, he's going to see the toes.
Oh, preemptively sprays that side of the smoke as well. That's outrageous. He may even survive to live to tell the tale, or perhaps not. But the grenade from the grave claims onto Nafani. And Yakindar, who had a very rough train, has certainly started to put the kills together now. Grenade banking off the wall. It's looking like VP will end this half having strung together 7 rounds in a row, and that's exactly what comes up after losing the first map. They're still in this. Find out if they convert after the break.
day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves, and a partridge in a pear tree. In a pear tree. The 4th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 4 calling birds, 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves, and a partridge in a pear tree. Ah, yeah. The 5th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me. Fa la la la, 5 golden rings, 4 calling birds, 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves, and a partridge in a pear tree. Ah, yeah. The 6th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 6 geese a laying, fa la la la, 5 golden rings, 4 calling birds, 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves, and a partridge in a pear tree. Ha! The 7th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 7 swans a swimming, 6 geese a laying, fa la la la, 5 golden rings, 4 calling birds, 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves, and a partridge in a pear tree. Ha! Ah, in a pear tree. The 8th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me.
It looked as though VP might be going out with a whimper here at DreamHack Open December, that they managed to string together 7 rounds to lead the first half 9-6. But now Gambit will be kicking things off on the CT side. Should be mentioned again though, Potter, it's that man Hobbit. It's the veteran that's been leading the charge. 14 kills, and he's about to be pressed upon by multiple Ts. He has to fall back, he has a couple players behind him, and VP deciding not to fully invest behind that, not fully commit just yet.
Hobbit, lucky to be alive. I thought he kind of got stuck on that yellow metal part there. A boost is going to come through. Hobbit's going to have a good angle with that USP. Nefani's going to have to be careful. He's all alone. He doesn't have backup right now. It's come down to a bit of a standstill here. But VP, they still got the utility. Another execute coming through. Jame with that flash getting ready.
It's a good flash. That angle, the dirty angle that Hobbit has been nullified, but he still puts a bullet in the smoke, and Nefani desperately wants to deal with Vikinda, but he doesn't know if that right-hand side has a T waiting. And so he's playing this one very patiently. He wants the guaranteed headshot comes out, and that's why he was playing patiently, because Jane had him on the cross. Kicker in a 1-on-4 can put down the first bullet. Tries to defend the bomb site, but Gambit are just too good. They're too fast and they're too quick on the trigger. Their pistols have typically been pretty lackluster, but this was solid.
It was beautiful stuff. I mean, it was a good plan from VP. Those 2 flashes that Jame threw absolutely did its job, but Hobbit just finding the quick taps through the smoke to start things off, and Vikindar was so screwed. Had to plant the bomb. This will be a force buy coming through, an answer back from VP. A late buy coming through once again from Buster. Sanji, of course, he's just down to the Glock. Oh no, he has a Galil. I wonder why he was holding the Glock. Maybe he's also just used to being resorted down to a Glock, but you do have the Galil, Sanji. VP are approaching this round pretty slowly.
They are. Being very careful. It was the T side of Train that was a bit of a nightmare for VP. Entirely different ball game, of course, Vertigo to Train, but we know that they did run out of steam, and Gambit were just having systematic control across the entirety of the map. Now, Nafani's jump peak has spotted multiple players down on ramp. That's valuable intel that allows them to draw away 2 players that were situated over on B to join the rest of the troops. Shiro, although he didn't have many opportunities to shine on the T half with the AWP, you expect to see him do well with the Scout and AWP on the CT side. We can play a little bit more static. He can wait for players to move into his crosshair. He's a very disciplined AWP, not necessarily the most aggressive on the planet. 30 seconds, and because of the T's have taken their sweet time, that rotation that initially came in has now gone away. I'm not sure why Nafani shot. Maybe his mouse hit his keyboard. Don't quite understand what happened there, but it gave his position away. And in such an important round, such an important moment, 15 seconds to go, Incendiary will be planted down on the site. This could be a bit of a nightmare for the T's. Sanji has to plant outside in the open, and the spray nearly lands onto him, but Yakinda holds the line with his AK, and Gambit looking like they may have to go safe. And I go back to that moment with Nafani, Potter, and I'm scratching my head, like, what just happened?
I can't believe it. So unlucky. I think Nafani, that was definitely a blunder. You could see in the movements from Shiro, he couldn't believe it either, but this is about to be a peekaboo. He's good for the one. They're actually going to go for this retake, Vince. They're not stopping. The bomb is smoked off right now. Shiro's got the angle. A lot of damage has been done, but just a little too late. Axel will find one, and VP are just booking it out of there. Actually, Axel's going to be able to survive as well. That's not too shabby, all things considered. The best out of an awful situation, but yeah, you're right, Vince. That initial reaction from Nafani, that was just, man, unlucko.
It's when he turned, I think, to shield away from the flashbang, he ended up shooting the wall. And at that point, VP knew exactly what was coming up, so he was not long for the world. Even if he got one kill, that probably wouldn't have been good enough. Buster takes that flash fully to the face, but there's no aggression behind it from Gambit, so he'll be fine. They do have to force buy, though. A ton of their players had $1,500, so they have to save them for 4 deagles alongside it and a healthy dosage of grenades. Nade up and over. The spot where Buster was so prolific on the B side when the roles were reversed, and VP have bolstered up their defense over on B. Nafani being tagged down a lot, though, down to 15 HP. That's going to be an issue.
He does get the kill, though, and is able to fall back. Hobbit draws some attention. He falls back as well, and these guys have smokes. Whoa, Nafani. Eesh. Just got there and catches the grenade. That could have been sneaky, but doesn't work out for him. VP, they're initiating this A hit. Shiro's got a lot of pressure on him. He's got to make these shots count. He's good for the one. Oh, almost gets a second as well, and just the rest fall. That was almost close coming out from Shiro. He could have had a round for himself and really get involved in this game.
Ooh, that's a big kill from Axile, but it wasn't a clean kill. 39 HP. There are 2 kits in play that are ahead of him, but that's out in the open, and because of that fact, I don't think he'll feel too compelled about going in for this clutch. At least they get to keep the Kevlar and the M4, of course they will have to save. But there are another couple of moments. Shiro up close on the ramp angle could have easily got 2 kills from that round, and Sanji ended up coming out swinging with a 3k. He survives on 1 HP. So it just goes to show, if he went down to the hands of Shiro, that could have been a very different outcome. 4-round lead, though, for VP, who have really gone from strength to strength here on Vertigo after a very, very poor start.
Yeah, they have not let up so far. And it's been that man on your screen there, Sanji, leading the charge. Over 100 ADR right now. He was responsible for really initiating a lot of those retake scenarios on CT side as well. Top fragging right now for VP, keeping them in this game. Getting them across the line to actually gain that lead. Gambit right now are just broke. Axel, he does have that saved weapon. Ooh, Shiro just gets deleted. Good find from Yukindar.
Axel has struck momentary gold with the M4, but now he's been Molotoved out of position. They're also smoking the key choke points. Another one's now been put down. Could be another round where Exile just looks to save onto the M4, leave the USPs to maybe pick off a couple of scraps and see if they can take a weapon here or there out of the round. But for all intents and purposes, it is looking like this will be a 12-7 lead. And VP a couple steps away, a couple rifle rounds away, perhaps, from taking us to Mirage. That's been a pretty lackluster performance from Gambit after a 6-2 lead. VP made their adjustments. They look like an entirely revitalized and revamped team, Potter. It's been quite impressive how the likes of Yukindar have really stepped back up again alongside Sanji.
Yeah, Yukindar just hasn't really let up. He had a terrible train, let's be real, but he just kept going in, try again, and he's finally shown up. Took him a while, but VP's side, and for Gambit, if we take a look, I mean, Inters just hasn't really had a chance to get involved into this game, and VP have hardly gone B as well. So just moving over to the second half, Inters just hasn't had the opportunities come his way. A bit of a rotate strike scenario for Inters. James got the angle, he had a shot. He will miss just a sliver.
Yeah, for me, the biggest kind of disappointment and surprise has just been how lackluster Shiro's been and how quiet he's been. And although in the first half, as we discussed, like having an AWP and there's very execute-heavy rounds coming in, a lot of smokes down, might not exactly have the greatest of angles. It's mainly playing behind the post plants. But on the CT side, you really do expect to see this guy deliver. James, for the second time in the round, had a chance, misses out on it, and has to back away as a result. It has drawn out two of Gambit into middle, however. And that could leave them vulnerable elsewhere, towards the likes of B. Molotov and nades now being exchanged. Buster trying to take in some ground while VP relocate back over on ramp. Looks like they want to hit A after all.
There might be some re-aggression coming through in middle from Shiro. Oh, that's not Shiro. Never mind, he's already fallen back. So right now, VP are pretty telegraphed. Gambit have a real good idea that the hit will be at A. Hobbit, sweaty position.
Does it get checked though? 20 seconds. Nafani just pushes straight out, but he's taken the damage away and the emphasis and the focus away from Hobbit, but it's only one. Shiro, this is really where we need to see him come alive, especially as James has now been found out. 8 seconds, there's the bomb drop. That should be the round done, and James whiffs out his chance. Shiro with a huge couple of kills, but it's at the cost of 3 lives, and it's not as if the economy of the CTs is stable yet.
What a wild round. Wild round. Nafani so dedicated to the cause. I respect the play. He really wanted to draw all the attention to him and allow Hobbit to have a better time, but the timing was just not in their favor. They're only good for 1 each. Almost a disaster, but Gambit are able to convert. James is down to half. Molotov doing work to him. Slowly but surely, VP are just working around the map right now. We've seen James going from A back to mid to B back to A last round, and it's kind of a repeat in this round. He's just going all around the place, trying to find that opening.
It's interesting as well, isn't it, Potter? Like the severe difference in ramp aggression from the two teams. Gambit are very happy to just kind of back away and give away most of that ramp. Yukindar was constantly up in their face. They constantly had those early smokes put down deep on ramp. As a result of that, Gambit, they're wasting a lot of time because VP are checking these angles, but I wonder at what point VP significantly increase the pace and try and steamroll over. Now, if Nafani goes unchecked, this could be the ace in the hole. Hobbit comes out with swinging with 2, and Nafani's there for the other. It's Nafani that loses his life, but that'll be a worthwhile trade as long as they can lock it down. If they can keep 4 players alive, all the better for it. They can upgrade to a couple of AKs as well. That's a great round for Gambit.
Fantastic hold, fantastic stuff. VP, that was absolutely a 2-pronged attack. Buster was trying his luck towards that B. He faced off against Axile, and he lost that duel. If he were to win that one out, VP would have beelined it straight back to B there, but because he falls, everything falls. VP members are not able to push off that sandbag player. Gambit holding strong on their defenses right now. They've got a hold of this economy. VP are on the save, just down to these pistols. And slowly but surely, Gambit getting back into this match.
Reversal from the first half where Gambit started lightning and it was VP who came back. Now the table's turning somewhat, but VP pretty much tapping out of this round. They didn't have the finances to facilitate any kind of a buy. Next one will be different. 2 players at $4,000 though. May have to drop to Galil's or potentially get their AKs just with a smoke alongside it. Looks like it will be AK-47s, and Kicker drops down to the Galil. You're spot on, though, Potter. It does seem like maybe that fairly lackadaisical CT side is starting to get into a bit of momentum. It is snapping into position once more.
Aggression from Yukindar. They're so blind, though. Nafani finds the first, but Yukindar's already spaced past him. Sanji's good for it. Oh, everywhere. Yukindar looks away at the wrong time, and that's Gambit just dominating towards this A ramp. Oh, I thought there was an opportunity for Yukindar there. Buster, he's still looking. He finds one, but Shiro immediately trades him out. This round was really all over the place. It was on to Yukindar there. He was able to space past everything, but because his teammate falls behind him, he wanted to get that trade, and oof, it was just all over the place. Things not looking good for VP here. Gambit are on a roll. They control the economy now. And it's about to be tied up, Vince. These Tech-9s better produce something.
And just as I was saying that Gambit have been very sort of passive and chill and reserved when it came to ramp control, they mix it up, they dial it in, they pick up the pace. 3 players systematically take control over it. Now we're seeing those deep smokes put into place. So at this point, VP cannot take anything for granted. They've seen the different sides that Gambit have in store. They're okay giving you up a little bit of ground, but my God, they are totally okay with the idea of getting in your face and snatching the round away from you. Big grenade damage done early on, softens up a few targets. It's a solid flashbang that forces them out in position. That Shiro can toss in the molly. That's towards the top side of ramp. That keeps them in their spots. And now VP, all they have to do is run straight through onto the site. Sounds a lot easier said than done, and they're about to run into a whole bunch of bullets, but Yukinda lands the headshot.
Bomb will go down. Hobbit finds himself one. Buster is so stuck. He needs his teammates to peek. The timing has to be ideal here to help out Buster if they can. Oh, and Yukindar's there to back him up. Buster is actually doing work, just surviving, crouching there. They do get rid of him. And the wide swing from Kicker doesn't work out. Yukindar, he has the A1, 13 bullets. Oh, labored spray. He still thinks someone's defusing. And he does go down. That was awkward. That was close. Things were pretty sweaty there, Vince, but Gambit make that retake happen once again. It is worrisome to me that VP's Tech-9 rounds have looked a lot closer than their gun rounds. But either way, they get a full buy, full purchase coming into this one. James even has an AWP. And it's all tied up here, Vince.
All tied up. Neck and neck between these two juggernauts. Whoa. Ooh, Yukinda. He'll be feeling pretty sour about that, but Nafani's going to be feeling ecstatic. 2 kills with only 26 HP lost in the process. Tons of utility that falls by the wayside. And just as you said, Potter, that it seems like their pistols have looked much sharper than their rifle rounds. Well, you're proven right again. VP are looking a little bit short when it comes to getting these weapons and grenades put down range into good angles to force away Gambit.
Axel has been doing work towards this B. He finds the one, is able to fall back. That's all he needs to do. Backup should be on the way. He even has a smoke. Buster is so blind, unable to find the trade. And whoa, Axel feeling confident, even going for more. This might be a mistake. Oh, that's a good shot onto Buster, though. Gambit are feeling confident, Vince. They're feeling confident. Axel, he knows he has the edge right now towards this B. I can't believe he's even going for more. This is craziness. He dies to Buster. It's a 1 versus 3. And if we take a look at Gambit's money, it's not in the best shape, actually. Either way, they'll be fine. They are hunting hard. They don't want to let go. Buster finds a second for himself, too. Oh my god. Okay, if he found a third, that would have been awful for Gambit. Nafani gets it under control, though. Is able to take him out. And Gambit just want to send VP a message, Vince. They don't care. They want to keep the pressure on. It's relentless right now. Nafani finds himself, too. This is a confident, scary-looking Gambit.
It's just so saying the Giants of VP seem like they've awoken from their slumber. Well, seems like Gambit, they've got a spout of insomnia as well. Yakinda, though, will be putting Nafani into a dirt nap. Through the smoke, takes him down, and that aggressive sort of style on ramp has shown itself on both halves of Vertigo. Now, Gambit haven't conceded the first player too often over the last few rounds when they've been making this comeback. How do they deal when the pressure has been applied directly to them, when they've lost ramp very early on and they have to draw in a few more extra players from B?
The timing with this mid-hit, James ready, but Yakinda are going down. That's going to make things even more difficult, but this B split, it's in action. Sanji goes down, Shiro's good for it. James might get this trade. And that smoke is going to push Shiro off the angle. Ooh, James going for more.
It might be aggression, but he may have overstepped the mark. They need him to survive. They actually find themselves a player behind, but now James comes through with one headshot, can start to pull back, pull the plug, getting close proximity of Kickert and Buster. And as a trio come back into this round strong, a grenade should be chunking away Hobbit. He falls to 67, still time though on the clock, still kit, still flashes. But these smokes have been a real pain in the backside, and I wonder if Gambit have already given this one up. They're going in a little bit late, but it's too little too late. Hobbit goes out swinging, he gets one but traded back, and VP will close the gap again. Tied up at 13-13.
Good answer, good call coming through from VP. That A ramp has been a painful second half for VP here. This time, misdirection. Bomb ends up at B. James and Sanji do work towards mid to make this B split work. And a solid round from VP.
Feel that tension now, Potter. Grand final spot on the line. Gambit 3 rounds away from securing it and facing off against Saw in our best of 5 tomorrow. Shiro has definitely come alive. He had a pretty woeful first half. I think he was 4-13 at one point, so he's really stepped it up. Exile stuck behind the back pillars. Teammates dying around him. Molotov will force him out of position, and down he goes. They need Inters to have a lot of impact now with his M4. He needs to get kills. There's a couple stopping targets. There's 1 second. The bomb's been dropped down. Inters may have single-handedly put this round back in the palm of Gambit. And now Hobbit, who has been consistently a monster, Absolute nemesis of VP goes in, but he gets taken out courtesy of Jame. The smoke betrays him. Inter's still alive, still up close, still taking this personally. He wants to try and carve a path through to another round, goes for the spray, picks up more, and there's a fourth on top of it. Yakinda's the last man standing with 5 HP. And he's down on the ladders. He's about to get flanked in. If he's not careful, he's a goner. And it's the headshot from the Farley. But take a bow, Inters. That is a phenomenal round.
Inters, the man of the hour showing up. We talked about it. I think he had 2 kills for like the majority of this game. Hardly finding any action towards this B, but man, working so well off the spray of Hobbit. You saw Hobbit up there in that heaven area, just spamming through the smoke. Inters finds the frags that he needs and secures this B bomb site in the post plant. Wow, Gambit, they're able to win out this round. That looked like a VP secured round all the way through to me.
Completely agree, Potter. I think they thought it was theirs as well. That is going to be a very bitter pill to swallow, and the effects of it are felt already. Galil in the hands of Buster, lack of utility on Jame, and VP getting stuck and choking in the smoke of ramp. This is where grenades can be that little bit more deadly. Yakinda goes out for the white swing, taking damage, tosses in a grenade. Hobbit's fully bit down on this one though. Is the trap being sprung against the CTs or for them? Well, right now it's against them. They've lost 2. Sanji and Jame have both come through quickly with frags. Shiro, though, on the flick, getting 1. And he's not fully getting pressed down either from side because the Molotov was in position. He's keeping his USP out while Exile is doing so much damage around the back of them. And now Inters, the hero of the previous round, is trying to put the one giant step forward to securing this best of 3. Buster's had a solid game himself, though. And with a minute to go, he can retrieve the bomb. He has no idea as to where Exile is currently residing. He was the player on the flank. And Buster's read this one flawlessly, but the timing may still work against him. Exile also assumes that Buster could have just backed away and gone back down ramp again. And in amongst all of that mayhem, Inters is back on the boxes. Has Buster done enough to get in the minds of the CTs, to divide and conquer them? A 2v1 could easily turn into 2 separate 1v1s. There's the spray. Does he anticipate Exile to be up on ramp? Now he's definitely heard him. That's put him into a great position now, Buster. Already 2 kills in this round, and he's looking for a third. Exile may very well go for the white swing, and Buster takes his head clean off.
The mind games in this round, Vince. I can't believe Buster's gotten away with it. Just biding his time towards that short A and that pause. Really, the paranoia started to get to Gambit. Both these players splitting up and... man, Buster just picking them apart one by one. 2 1v1s for himself. A bit of a slip up for Gambit, but again, they just didn't have the intel. They didn't have the information they needed. Buster saving the day. 14-14. Everything's tied up, Vince. We got a game on our hands.
Neck and neck, but the economic advantages are clearly in VP's hands. We have a Nova, some FAMASs. As a result of going for these FAMASs, there is going to be a lack of grenades. Nafani can only get a flash. Hobbit will have no grenades other than a decoy. And Shiro flat out broke. We've seen Gambit do more with less in the past, however, so I will not write them off. But VP in a comfortable position, although it certainly won't feel like it because there's a lot of tension right now on both these teams. So much on the line.
Boost come through for Gambit. They haven't done this all half, so they should get rewarded. But oh, a labored spray. Yukindar with the crouch is able to punish Nafani. That is a feels bad. Gambit, a man down now. And Hobbit is just gonna have to pull a rabbit out of a hat here, Vince.
Potentially several. I feel like one miracle might not be enough at this point. Nafani's really sold his team down the river. That had to be a kill. Had the drop on Yakinda and everything. Take nothing away from Yakinda. He just spun around and took his head off instantly. Very impressive return. But now that smokes are being put down. Oh, That's a big kill from Hobbit, taking down Buster, but also softening up Sanji. Bomb still traverses across to the site. Will start to get planted in the next few moments from Kicker. There's not really anything they can do about this. They don't have any high ordnance. They don't have any incendiaries, and Kicker comes through with 2. But our Hobbit's gone back in again. A 2-on-2 falls upon us. They do have a kit for Inters, tickling the bomb, trying to draw out the T's. They know one of them's on sandbags, and even though Hobbit takes the head of Jame, it's the FAMAS. So it's not the instant outright frag. And now Inters is taking this opportunity to get round the side. He knows one of the players is sandbags. He's suppressed down Jane, but no idea about the last player. He's got a smoke. He can put that down on the site, and he may have to stick the bomb. How is your luck? Yakinda round the corner, going for the spray and gets it done. VP will take the first map point.
Wow, FAMAS just betraying Hobbit there. He had the dink. He was good for the headshot onto James. Man, so many things going wrong for Gambit. So many things going right for Hobbit, and then just failing him. Intense rounds, intense stuff. Gambit, they're still broke. They gotta work with these scraps. Axel will have a lot of traffic come his way in the beginning. He's got a smoke. He'll be able to slow the round down and use that when he needs to.
Still a chance to take us to overtime. MP9 FAMAS and some Deagles. How many times have we seen Desert Eagles somehow, some way, dig teams out of precarious situations? That's a hefty grenade, though. Lands flush on Exile. Down to 55, he will fall. They've put a lot of their early manpower over on the B side of the map, with Nafani basically sticking on A alone, playing aggressive to get some early information. Down comes Exile. He wasn't far off. MP9 right behind him. You could see what VP had to deal with, but the spray wasn't quite on point, and they've punished Gambit severely. 40 seconds left.
Desperation pop flash plays coming out. Hobbit's FAMAS again doing work. It is down to a 3v3. Shiro has that Deagle, and he's good for the initial shot. He does get traded out. Hobbit still alive, though. Bomb will get planted.
Nafani not far off from landing one of those 2 Deags, but he's gone down, and now Hobbit has to do it all alone again, and Sanji makes sure that third map does come up. Hobbit's got to be devastated, though, Potter. He played so well.
He did play so well, man. Hobbit, and it was Sanji on the other side for VP to really just pull VP out of that rut. Train was not good. The beginning of this Vertigo was not good either, but somehow, some way, it was Sanji, it was Buster. Slowly but surely, they clawed their way back in, and hey, it's Vertigo. We were questioning what VP would look like on this map, but they had an answer this time, Vince.
They had an answer, and we'll find out if the desk have an answer to what just happened after this break.
Well, it seems the polar bears have come out of hibernation as they do bounce back on Vertigo, Blair, but dear Lord was it close, and Hobbit himself still putting up some ridiculous numbers in this match.
Yeah, over 100 ADR again, 28 kills in total. He did put in a lot of work there. Some of those rounds, if it just a matter of millimeters and milliseconds, right? It could have gone the way of Gambit, but then in the end, of course, we do have VP finally waking up, like I said, from hibernation. This round in particular, Inter's Yakinder with a crucial clutch coming in. And speaking of Yakinder, he finally woke up. He had a terrible map number 1, but map number 2 really showing up here. I wanted to point it out, the Hobbit, he was involved in, let me take a look real quickly, 8 opening duels. He went 7-1 in opening duels, 28 kills. But I feel like a lot of the good he did with some of these opening duels were kind of nullified with Nefani. 6-1, 10 loss, and the majority of that on the CD side, just going for the same peak over and over again towards ramp, getting punished time and time again. So the captain usually doesn't make too many mistakes, but Gambit, I feel like, they made a few too many mistakes, which cost them the map there.
Well, you sort of mentioned it briefly, and I know that it's something that Maui wanted to touch on. Yakinder may not have been his highest statistical match, but in terms of impact, Maui, he was off the charts.
Yeah, it feels like Yakinder played himself into shape. It really felt like Train. I think Elliot brought the stat up. I think you brought it up, actually, Tom. Just the fact that he had 7 kills, lowest fragging map in a year, and now he bounces back with 23 frags, second highest ADR for his team, and really just so much impact in these opening duels. So many crucial kills that either open the round up for his team or secure them, as he just did get that last round. It was kind of like watching, for any NBA fans, James Harden at the beginning of the season, always just a little tired. The Khloe Kardashian gets to him. He's kind of fat at the beginning of the season. It's like Yakinder. He just won Flashpoint 2, a lot of money in his bank account, and now he plays himself into shape. So good to see Yakinder bounce back.
But that was the one thing that was sort of scary about this map, Blair, is that in both occasions, it seemed like an uphill battle for Virtus.pro. Like, this was one where they both times were sort of looking out of the map and they had to fight back right in the last few seconds. Now we head into Mirage, which, although, again, statistically looks pretty good for VP, we've now seen not only them lose this earlier in the tournament to Forza, hence why this match is even happening, but also almost lose it to Espada as well.
Yeah, it's a map where I feel like CIS teams, I can't trust a single CIS team in Mirage, especially when they're playing against a countryman. It just makes no sense, right? But I'm happy. I wanted to see a grand final-esque sort of a game here in VP. The fact that they were able to get to like 9 rounds, I think winning 7 in a row in the first half, and then of course Gambit winning the pistol, able to make them, forcing VP to really battle it out. I feel like it's showing that VP have what it takes to really battle when it really does matter, and right now it definitely is crucial for them to wake up, and I feel they've woken up.
Well, we all know the only teams you can trust on Mirage are Asian teams, isn't that right, Blair? So we are going to be going into this one. It is the final map. One of these teams goes straight through to face off against Saw. The other is out. A chance for Gambit to double up on their open victories, and VP trying to ruin their day. We'll be back with Potter and Vince after the break to finalize this series.